How to achieve individual sales targets in your store. Now, maybe you're under pressure because you're trying to go through and make goals and you don't really know what it takes, and that might give you a lot of tension. I'm going to address that today for you. By the end of this video, you'll know how to get rid of your sales inertia. You'll be able to come up with new strategies and, more importantly, feel better about yourself and actually hit those sales goals. So let's get going. Okay, so how do we overcome sales inertia and set bold goals? Well, bold goals means that you have the direction you want to go, right? And it's kind of the difference between when I say, hey, we're going to go to Greece next month. You want to join us? And I say, hey, we're going to take a trip to Greece. We leave on the 15th from Athens. We're going to board. We cruise that night. There's a big party on board, fireworks. Then we're going to cruise right around to all of the individual islands for the next 3 days. We're then going to board a plane. You get the idea? There's a plan involved. You're like, oh, I want to do that. I want to do that. That's why a lot of us struggle with setting goals, is we don't really see the goal to begin with. And we've got this giant goal. We haven't broken it down to little individual steps we can take. So how do you know if you have sales inertia? Look at your sales the last several weeks or months. Are they pretty much the same? Is your average ticket the same? Is your units per transaction the same? That means you're pretty much stuck in a rut. So what can you do to break out of it? Well, one, set some stupid goal, right? If your average number of items you sell is 1.3, then make your goal 2.6. Why not? Why not? Because it would energize you, and more importantly, you're the one making this goal, not me. If your boss makes it, you're like, I hate you. But if it's you, it's like, oh, I could do that. And I'll tell you a quick story. I was promoted to a store in Santa Monica, and it had a very high goal for August. It was one of the highest because at that time they had a customer loyalty sale for 1 week. And it was a big time for all the stores. And they put me in the store right at the end of July. And when I came in, I had 2 employees I never could see. I don't know where they worked, but they were on the clock. I had one young woman who was about 16 and flirting with all the guys. I had one guy who couldn't speak English, I was pretty sure of. And they hated me. In fact, they hated me so much, I came back from the bank one time and 2 of them were having sex in the stockroom. Yeah. Awesome, right? And I got rid of them. But when it came time for our customer event, they had burned all of the lists of our loyal customers. And I said, well, what am I going to do? So I went up to the owner and I said, you got to lower my goal. I'm being stressed. This goal's too high. And he said, well, if it's too high for you, then I've got the wrong guy. This is really ridiculous. I got back in my car, and I had to drive an hour south to get back. And all the way home, I'm like, this is ridiculous. After all I've done, and I'm the one that's doing everything, and this is really ridiculous. And then about halfway over the Santa Monica Mountains, I just said, what if I could do it? What if I could do it? What's one thing I could do? And I went back and I actually spent some time and realized that Marco actually was multilingual. He could speak Spanish and he could speak English and a third language, which comes in really handy in a tourist neighborhood like Santa Monica. The young woman who was 16, I said, you got to tone it down. That's just not going to work here. And then there was me. There was 4 of us, and I hired 1 new part-timer. And in that month, we sold more than any other store. And it taught me that the power of working as a team is what makes retail great. So it's great for you to come up with a goal for yourself, but also I want you to think, how does that fit into everybody else? Because if you find a running buddy, somebody who'll challenge you, like, hey, did you really add on to that? And are you looking to get ahead? Then they're going to help you be the best of you. And if you're hanging out with people who, you know, I hate my job and I hate the hours and the boss is this, garbage in, garbage out. You're going to see everything that same lens. And I work with an awful lot of people in retail, and they make a great living in retail, but they've got to prove it every day, every time. My boss used to say, you're as good as your last sale. Brutal. But there's a certain truth to that, right? In everything we do. You know, if you're cutting lawns and you do a terrible job at it, you're probably not going to get any more work. It's no different in retail. Okay, so as you're developing your skills, and I've got another video you might want to watch. It's right up here at the top. You could see that there. If you don't see it up above, you could see it down below in the text, but how to sell more. But also, when you actually do one of your stupid goals, or when you achieve a goal for the day, put a milestone in it, right? What I always used to say is, as I'm going home from a really great day, remember this feeling. Because there are other days when it doesn't work, and you're feeling so dejected, like everything you did didn't work. So when it does work, You've got to program your body, this is what normal should feel like, instead of going to the loser's limp and, oh yeah, it was horrible, I need a drink and everything's terrible, I don't want that, right? So that's one thing, the milestones, but then also your progress. So you could chart that in your phone, you could chart that on a piece of paper, any number of items, but you want to see progress. This is no different than if you are parenting a small child and you know, I'm actually covering values that are important to me. I'm actually thinking about it, because what you learn in retail will come in play everywhere else in your life if you just spend enough time to master it. And also, another point to consider is that when you miss a sale, if you can have a running buddy, somebody else on the floor that can help you unpack it, that's great. If not, you might be able to dictate it on your phone. You know, this is what happened, guy came in asking for this is what I said to him, this is our point of contact, how the rapport was, I asked this and this, and he walked, what could I have done different? Ask that to ChatGPT, see what it says. It might not have the greatest answer, but if it gave you one moment that you could be like, oh, I hadn't thought about that. See, that's the fun of it. You're just playing the game of retail, which is get the merchandise in their hand, on their back, on their foot, get them to start wondering, what would it be like to own that? And then they'll start asking you questions. How do I take care of this? Can I get it by a delivery date? Does it come in another color? Those are where they're already starting to picture it, and you need to understand that that's where you're going to be able to hit that goal, because you recognize those buying signs. So instead of pouring water on it, oh, well, we have all these other ones you could look at. You want to really narrow your sales process. When we get down to features and benefits and objections, don't throw a wrench into it. If that didn't work and they question you, oh, does this come in another color? Well, not that one, but we also have these. You've suddenly thrown the whole sale into problem because they were really right here with you, and you suddenly said, now let's look at the world. And that overwhelms them, and then they'll be there. Here's my card, ask for me. I don't want that for you. So finally, to think about also, when you are a salesperson, and I think we're all salespeople, I don't care whether you, it's funny, in my keynotes as a retail doctor, I ask the audience, I go, how many would want your kids to grow up to be a salesperson? Like crickets. And I go, isn't that funny, in a room full of people that, I don't know, have to sell for a living? Nobody wants to do it? And you'll say, oh, well, I want my kid wants to be able to provide fresh water to third world countries. Well, great, they're gonna have to sell somebody that they're worth being on the team, right? Oh, that's my son wants to be a filmmaker. Well, they're gonna have to go through and get someone to finance the film. You don't do that for free. And you understand that everything is a sales suggestion. Now, maybe we don't like calling it selling, but I'm sorry, I don't know what else I can call it. A sale is, I'm convincing you to do what you want to do, and I'm here to help you. And that's a sale, because someone says, yes, I want your help, or no, I don't want your help. So as more we think about that with your kids and look about what's my attitude about selling, right? It's something I have to put on like a heavy cloak, then we might realize that might be wearing off on our customers, and I don't want that for you. And by the way, I have one more video I want you to be thinking about right up here on the top right. You can either click right there or down below and find out even more information and go deeper with me. RetailDoc.com.